And then you need to press something.
Got it.
Great. So hi, everybody. I'm Barbara Shor, and I am here with Janet and Scott Hauser to do this interview. So I'm excited to see you both. And my first question is, what did you do right as soon as you graduated from vet school? What's the story? And whoever wants to start, just start.
So being on the Witchy program, I had to come back to Arizona, and luckily Scott came with me. So I interviewed and joined a small animal practice. And kind of interestingly enough, I stayed at that practice for almost 38 years.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. And that practice eventually was bought out by VCA and worked for VCA. They shut that particular practice down, and then I've joined another VCA hospital. So yeah, that was my home hospital for, gosh, almost 38 years.
Where is it located?
It's in the Phoenix area.
Oh, in Phoenix.
Yeah.
And now you're at a different hospital also in Phoenix?
Yes, West Phoenix, and it's also a VCA hospital.
How is that to work for VCA?
You know, I really have had a very positive experience, support from not only, local, but, the regional directors, medical directors, hospital directors. And so I've had a very positive experience with
Oh,
them.
that's good to know.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's a big corporation, isn't it?
It is. And there's certainly advantages to that.
Like what?
You have, oh gosh, like up to date on technology, medical experts, meetings that we go to, and it is a family atmosphere. So
nice.
yeah,
That's
very nice.
Mhm.
It's really a family atmosphere
now.
for her, because she's actually working with our daughter who graduated 8 years ago from CSU at vet school.
Is that right?
Yeah. So my daughter sits right next to me now.
How cool is that?
Oh, it's very cool, except she's way too smart, way smarter than me.
Got the voice of experience.
Well,
Right.
that's what I keep saying. Yep, I've got the wisdom.
So they were very iffy if they would let that happen, having two family members work like that. But that's what I kept telling them. You're going to have 40 years of experience, and then the young buck with all the latest technology, and combine the two, it's going to be a winner, and it has been.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Must be fun, huh?
It is fun. Yeah. We all get along. I'll get along well.
That's wonderful. Are you the only two in the practice?
No, us two, and then we have a medical director. And kind of interestingly enough, he lives like right across the street from me. So
God, so it is family.
it definitely is family.
He was a CSU graduate,
Yeah.
and then he married a veterinary oncologist
Oh my God.
who did an internship at CSU.
Yeah.
So it's pretty wild.
Unbelievable. That's unbelievable. But you guys are the only veterinarians in that practice. Right.
Well, myself and my daughter, and then
Right.
the medical director.
Yeah.
So he's a veterinarian too?
Yeah.
He's a veterinarian also.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Very cool. Wow. Do you have any other children?
One other one, he rode around with me in the truck too long though, and said, "There's no way I'm going into being a veterinarian."
You had enough, huh?
Oh yeah, I think I had him in a car seat at 18 months watching me do a castration, and
That was it.
and then I did zoo work, so he went to the zoo so much he didn't even like to go to the zoo anymore.
Oh my goodness.
He does now though.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's he doing?
He's in commercial real estate in Oregon.
In Oregon.
Oh, where?
He's in Portland. Well, Lake Oswego. How about
Okay.
you?
That's about 5 hours from me.
Okay. So are
Yeah.
you South Oregon then?
Yeah, I'm right across the border of California, like 12 miles north of the border,
Okay.
in a little town called Ashland. It's very cute.
Oh, good.
Yeah, yeah.
All right,
Wow, this is great.
Scott's turn.
Scott's turn.
Scott's turn.
I came out and worked in a practice for about 6 months, and the guy decided he couldn't afford to have two in his practice, so he let me go. And then I filled in for a guy that graduated, I think, 3 years ahead of us, and filled in for him while he went to Kentucky to do some work on reproduction. So then when he came back, he said, "Why don't you just get a truck and start on your own?" Because that's basically what he had done. So for the last 39 years,
Yeah.
I've run a truck by myself, pretty much doing mostly backyard horses. I didn't really get into show horses or
Arabs or.
yeah, any of the training stuff. Just backyard stuff. But got a call in let's see, that would have been
84.
84
Okay.
from a local guy who had started a zoo, and he wanted to know if I would look at a zebra. And I actually couldn't make it that day. But then he called me back later and said, "Would you look at a camel?" And I went, and then I've been part-time zoo vet ever since. So it's
Wow.
been an interesting career working on stuff I never even looked at at
Yeah.
CSU,
Yeah.
and had no real interest at the time, but it turned out to be a real good gig.
Oh, that's great. You know, that was my main thing when I was in vet school, was zoo and wildlife medicine. And I did everything I could and did a residency and the whole bit. And then I'm not doing it anymore. So I switched roles. Yeah. And there's a lot to learn too about all these different species, you know?
But it was crazy coming out because there was like 2 books. That was it on zoo medicine.
Was
Yeah,
Murray
Fowler.
Fowler.
And one, I can't even remember the guy. He only wrote 1 book, and that was all.
Yeah.
So I remember getting a call one day, "Would you come look at a red lechwe?" I said, "Sure, what is it?" I had no clue. A lot of the stuff they'd call me on it, and I just have to ask them, "What's it closest to?" And then I would go from there. You know, was it closer to a cow, goat, sheep,
Antelope.
horse?
Mhm.
Yeah, and then I'd go from there.
Yeah. You know, Murray Fowler was my major professor when I
Oh,
did.
wow.
Oh, really?
Yes, he was, but he wasn't there very much because he was on sabbatical writing a book about llamas. He was writing the
I
llama.
got that book.
That was his thing. And then, but he was really good because I wanted to work with wildlife, not just pet exotics and zoo animals. And he helped me create a whole residency with California Fish and Game for, you know, so it was a California Fish and Game and UC Davis combined. So that was really good. And
Good.
then when you talk about the red lechwe, I had never heard of it. Last summer, I went to Botswana, and
Ah,
that's where they live. They were everywhere, and they're just amazing animals, how they just race through the water. You know, other antelope species don't do that so much, as far as I know.
they're tough to dart because they are very quick and they're pretty smart. They'll run into the brush, and then it's pretty hard to get to them. So they're an interesting species.
I didn't even know there were any in zoos. I just didn't know.
Yeah, we have quite a few, and we also have some Nile lechwe.
Oh, okay. I don't know about those.
Yeah, they're a different color. I mean, the red ones look red, and these are more of a tannish brown.
Uh-huh.
The males are a lot different colored than the females.
Oh,
So you
like
could,
how? Wow.
I don't even know how to describe that. It's a darker color, and then they have horns too, which the females don't. So
Uh-huh.
I mean, they definitely look different.
Wow.
So
So this must be a fairly good sized zoo that you work for.
it started off really small. The guy had originally been a or actually a middle school history teacher, but all his life he had worked with animals and loved it. And he was the first person to ever raise
Curacao?
curassows
Yeah.
in captivity.
Bird, yeah. Mhm.
And so he made a name for himself, and then he started this zoo, and it grew slowly, but now we're up to 110 acres.
Whoa.
And we've got roughly 6,500 animals.
Oh my goodness, that's a lot, isn't
And
it?
he's got 4 aquarium buildings. So and then I do work, we have sea lions there, so we get to work with those. I've done one surgery on a shark, toughest hide I've ever dealt with.
How
Well-
did you do it? Because they can't be out of water very long.
Yeah, it helps to have a good Aquarius, but basically we put anesthetic in the water.
Yeah.
And then put them in it, and then as they start to go under, you flip them over on their back, and that kind of paralyzes them too. And then we use a pump and
Kinda
just
pump it
pump
through
the anesthetic water over the gills, so they're out of the water but still getting enough oxygen and stuff from what we're pumping across the gills, and that keeps them under.
Wow.
Block too, but about 3 throws with a needle and you're done. I mean, it's dull as it can be. I can see why they like to use them for cowboy boots, because they are tough.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. So you really have had to fly by the seat of your pants.
Oh yeah.
Oh
It's
my
been
goodness.
fun though.
So do you have other people you can consult with, or you just kind
Oh
of?
yes.
Yeah.
There's another gal, she actually went to CSU too, and I think she graduated 91. Dr. Sharmi Johnson, and she's out there with me.
Oh, good.
So and she's really good with birds. I'm not birds. I can do some stuff, but that's definitely not my area of expertise. I'm more for the hoof stock. And then
Yeah.
I'll go, like tomorrow, we're going to be knocking down
Those
some
big cats,
jaguars.
yeah.
So
Oh, cool. I love jaguars. That's so cool. Wow, good for you. And you've still got your equine practice or no?
I semi-retired from that. After 40 years of carrying a pager and then taking night calls, I was, by yourself, it's 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, unless you leave. So
That's a lot.
I finally got where I just needed to get away from that, but I'm still doing my part-time out at the zoo then.
Wow. Wow. That's very cool. Yeah. So, boy, I don't know what else to say. I'd like to ask about every different species. That's so interesting. And I saw on Facebook, you have a page, Scott, where you like kind of talk from the animal's point of view. Is that what you're doing there?
Yeah, there's the big male sea lion we have is named Crockett. So I every week I try to send out something where the trainer asks Uncle Crockett, we call him, something about life, and then he supposedly answers them.
So you take the role of the trainer and Mr. Crockett. Is it Mr. or Dr. Crockett?
It's Uncle Crockett, we call
Uncle
him.
Crockett.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he got that name because we did a family Christmas photo.
Yeah.
So we had all our kids and grandkids, and then Crockett was over our shoulder. And so we just said, Merry Christmas from named off everybody and Uncle Crockett.
Oh, that's so cute.
So that's where we got Uncle Crockett from.
So can people actually interact with him, or is he okay, or is he
Oh
dangerous?
yeah, he's really a good specimen. So we a lot of times we'll bring in friends, and then he's been trained to give a kiss on the cheek. And we a lot of the stuff they work on him are so that we can do medical stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, he's trained to stay in one position. He's trained to open his mouth so that we can look at teeth, and we can draw blood on him
Yep.
from a flipper. So he's really good to work with, and fun to introduce to other people.
That's great. When I started doing this zoo stuff years ago, it's probably 40 years ago now, maybe 50. I hate to say that, but it was before vet school that I started at the zoo. And things have changed tremendously. I remember we had a Saki monkey who was in quarantine, and I looked in that cage and it was so sterile. I think there were two Saki monkeys, and they had both come from the rainforest, and there was nothing, and they were just in quarantine in this little cage. And I remember I took some sticks and branches and things in there just to give them something. But now it's a whole thing about enrichment for these animals,
Yes.
which is very new. And the other thing that I've seen that's new, and I'm not in that world so much, so I don't know all the changes, but this training that you're talking about of training animals to be receptive to veterinary care or just maintenance or whatever. So there's a lot more training that goes on for that, right?
Yes, and originally when I'd go like for the big cats, I would have to dart them.
Right.
At that time, pretty much we had ketamine and Valium or and we'd use a little xylazine too sometimes.
Yeah.
But it was painful. I mean, that stuff burns, and they hated whoever shot them. Now our cats are all trained where they can pull their tail over and get blood. They can inject them. So there's not that trauma that we used to have on them.
My God, that's so fantastic.
I remember we'd made a new enclosure, and I ended up darting this Bengal tiger 3 times before it was safe enough to get her and move her. We moved her to this nice place, nice new enclosure, had water features and everything for her. And it was like 3 days later, it was a Saturday, and I had my son, he was about a 3-year-old, put him on my shoulder, and I'm walking up, and all these people are staring at this cat, and she's just laid out flat, and doesn't care about anything. And as I got closer, I saw her roll up sternal, got a little closer, and then she stood up, and the people are all really amazed and thinking, this is really cool. I got to the back of that crowd, and she charged as hard as she could, jumped and hit the fence and roared. And people were screaming and crying. They were grabbing their kids. Of course, the wives or the moms were grabbing the kids. The dads all ran, and it split like
Right.
like the Red Sea was parting. And then it was just me and my son, and that cat wanted me in the worst way. And from that time on, no matter when I showed up, she could be eating, she would come charging at me to try to get me. And so it was horrible. I always told people, if you're ever at the zoo and they say, we need to move, there's a tiger loose, and you see me, go the opposite direction, because she'll be looking for me. And she never, till she died, she never forgot me. But now by this training method, and they can ease those needles into them.
Wow, that's
You just don't have that. It's so much nicer.
Oh my gosh. Well, you said they move their tail out of the way. What are you talking about?
They'll pull their tail
Through the
fence even, and then they can hit tail veins. And
Oh,
those cats will just stand there and they usually are feeding them little meatballs through the fence. So somebody's doing that while the other person pulls the tail over, and then they'll get blood samples for us.
oh my God,
And have
really?
them do vaccines. It's great.
Wow, that's amazing.
So yeah, zoo medicine has definitely changed over those 38 years.
Oh, I wish I had stayed closer to it. You know what I remember? When I was doing my residency at Davis, we were the veterinarians for the Sacramento Zoo. And when we went to the zoo, the vets had to wear plastic garbage bags over us because the chimps would throw stuff.
Feces, yes,
Yes.
All
yeah,
their poops would end up
Yes.
on the vets because they just didn't like veterinarians at all. It was
That
bad.
that was the first thing I learned. Monkeys are not pets.
yeah,
Stay away from monkeys.
yeah.
Wowie. But I remember, now I'm telling all my stories. We had a little baboon, a little gelada, I think she was, named Mary, and she was in the zoo hospital. And I have a picture of her putting her hand out, to touch. She was just so sweet. So some of them could be very, very nice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the majority of them I don't trust. And they're so quick and strong. It's just amazing. If you're using a blowgun to try to dart them, I've seen them grab darts out of the air and throw them right back at you.
Oh
So,
my God, really?
oh yeah, you got to watch those things.
God, have you been hurt?
Yeah, well, I was hurt one time, not by them throwing anything at me, but I had a gibbon come in that was really sick and died while I was treating it. And I foolishly opened it up without a mask on, and I hit a bowel and it aerosolized a bunch of stuff. And a
Oh,
couple days later, I was so sick, I thought I was going to
Very
die.
sick, yeah.
oh my God.
And I'd sent in samples. I sent in stuff to culture, and my father-in-law, Janet's dad, was a MD,
Yeah.
and he asked me, "Did you send anything in?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Call them right now and see if they've got a culture back." And so I called down to the lab and they said, "Yeah, that's the hottest E. coli we have seen in years."
Oh,
And that's what it was. And they had a sensitivity on some antibiotics, and they got me started on antibiotics, and I pulled out of it. But I was sick.
whoa, whoa.
So my life with dogs and cats are pretty dull.
Yes.
Yeah.
Have you done any work with Scott at the zoo?
Oh,
Yes,
yeah,
he
they
has.
used to call me in. I do some orthopedics for them and
Oh, really?
yeah.
So you do a lot of surgeries?
I think in my younger years I did. You know how it is. It's just you. So you got to figure it out and get it done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was a good surgeon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I went in and assisted a lot for her, and
Yeah. Then
She
he'd come
wasn't-
in and help. Yeah.
she wasn't afraid to tackle anything.
Yeah.
So
Oh, good for you. I'm not that brave, I think.
I wasn't that brave either.
Yeah. So are you retired now, Janet?
I still work 4 days a week.
Uh-huh.
And I still love it. The technology gets to me all
Yeah.
the time.
Yeah.
I'm always asking my daughter, oh my gosh, what happened to my computer? Please help me. Please fix it. Please tell me what to do. But
Well, you're lucky you have her.
oh my gosh, yes, yes. But I still love the interaction with the clients and the patients and the staff. So yeah, I'm still going.
That's really great.
Yeah.
You're both pretty happy with veterinary medicine and what you're doing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it has treated us
Yes.
very well. Yes.
Great. That's great. And you've lived pretty much in the same place all this time?
Yeah,
pretty much.
we bought the house we're in '86, and there was a bunch of older people around us, and we ended up taking care of the older people in our neighborhood. And we couldn't leave them. And they've all passed away now. So now we're the older people.
That's great. Hey, I've got a question for you guys. You've been married a long time now. How long?
42 years.
How'd you do it? I mean, because vet school is stressful, and veterinary medicine isn't the easiest thing in the world either. So what's your secret?
I think we're blessed to have a Christ-centered marriage. God is at the center of our marriage. And I think that certainly is, we're blessed to have that. And I think that's probably one of the secrets for us.
And I think too, since we were both veterinarians, she understood if I had to leave to go on emergency calls. And when she first came out, she'd have to do emergency calls too. They didn't, that was before they really had started a lot of emergency clinics.
Yeah.
And so I would go with her sometimes on the small animal end of it. And then when I was first starting my practice, to fill in and get some time, I actually would do relief work with her at her hospital.
Mhm.
And we always got along,
Yeah.
and we helped each other out.
Yeah.
So
Lots in common, as the kids grew up, our conversations around the table probably wouldn't be like a normal family, but
and they're still not normal.
Wow.
When you can talk about maggots and eat rice, you're doing
good.
good.
Doing good.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, gosh, it's so good to be with you guys. And
Yeah, thanks for getting connected. Will we be able to see everyone's interviews?
they're already online. There's a
Yeah.
bunch online.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so this will be up soon. I'm not techie at all. So Donna's been putting them up online and all that stuff. So, but there's a number of them on the
Oh,
website.
good.
That does my heart good to hear you say you're not techie
Yeah,
either.
me too. Me too.
Drives me crazy.
Yeah,
Just
me
crazy.
too.
I'm doing a podcast too, which has been really fun.
Oh,
But I have a younger woman who's doing it with me, and she does all the techie stuff. So
okay.
I don't have to deal with this. It's not my thing. Yeah.
Well, vet school, we had such good memories. And it's fun to look through the pictures and see everyone and see where everybody has been. And
Yeah.
we were such a good class. We had a good family
Good
as class. Yeah.
Yeah.
We talked to other vet school classes, and they just didn't have that camaraderie that we did.
Really?
Yeah.
I know Dr. Johnson out at the zoo, that class that she was in, they were cutthroat.
Yeah.
In fact, she said almost every week somebody ended up in the hospital having anxiety attacks.
Oh my God.
It sounded crazy to me, but she said that's how it was. It was horrible. And I thought, man, we had a good
We
time
had
all
so
together.
much fun. So
Yeah.
much fun.
Wow. I didn't realize that other classes were like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
So
And
we're
it's-
sorry we're not going to be able to be there.
Oh, you can't come?
No,
I
we had Christmas plans for the whole family to get together. And remember the crazy weather at Christmas time, the blizzards and everything. So we decided, okay, we'll get together over Memorial Day. And then and then the dates came out for the class reunion, and sorry. So you guys have fun.
I'm sorry, but at least people get to see this if they're interested.
Yeah.
It's been surprising to me because I've been removed from all this for so long, but it's been really fun interviewing people and see what people
Good.
I
doing
bet.
these years.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wish we had more interviews. I think last I checked, there were about 10 or something, but
Okay.
it's
All right,
it's
good.
been so interesting to see where people are at. And everybody I've talked to is pretty happy, you know?
Good.
It was a good class.
It was, yeah, we had a great class.
did.
Absolutely. We all
We-
look at the same, don't you think?
Right, right.
Ah.
Yeah, we're all a little bit older.
Not that much.
Not that much.
Not
No,
that.
still a long ways to go. Yeah. Well, this has been so much fun. Thank you so much for,
Thank you so much, Barb and Donna and Lisa, all you guys for organizing, and Tom, I think, for organizing everything.
I really didn't organize it. There's a committee of 4 people, which is Donna. Donna's been on the website thing. She's done a great job.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Lisa and Tom and Mike Matz are the 4.
Oh,
Okay, good.
And Donna also has a podcast, and so we've talked quite a bit, and we said, okay, we're both doing podcasts. We like to interview people. Let's just go for it. So that's how that
Yeah.
developed.
good for you guys.
Yeah,
Thank
Yeah.
you.
thank you, thank
Yeah,
you.
you're welcome. It's just been really nice. Yeah, and I'm sorry we won't get to see you in person, but somebody has said, well, let's do this more often. So who knows? Maybe
There you
we'll have
go.
more.
We'll
Yeah.
definitely try to make the next one.
Yeah, good. Good. And have fun with your work. I'm jealous. I want to be with you with
Yeah.
those.
Well, when you come to visit us here in
Yeah.
Phoenix,
If you ever come, let me
We'll tour
know.
you
I'll
through.
figure you through.
yeah,
I actually
go.
have a friend who lives outside Phoenix, so maybe I'll get there someday. That'd be fun.
Oh, yeah. I'll take you on the backside of stuff.
Oh, goody. Okay, you got a deal.
And you can meet Uncle Crockett.
I can't wait. How old's Uncle Crockett now?
How old? He's 7, I think.
Oh, so he's not very old.
No.
He's a sea lion?
Yeah, 410-pound sea lion.
How long do sea lions live? I don't even know.
I think, these were the first we've gotten, but I think it's like 12 to 15 years, I think is what they say.
Kind of like a dog.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's so great. Well, have fun, you guys, and thank you for doing this.
Oh,
Thank
you bet.
you.
Thank you.
take
Care.
care. Bye.
Bye.